Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death.
Here, I'm the one starting conversations right before the stream goes live. At least I didn't ask you a deep existential question.
Yeah.
Just a non sequitur technical question to distract you.
No, like, right. Neal, how's your marriage going? But, like, really?
No love bites on this break.
Yeah.
All right. So, a zombie trudges through the Blumwood. A lone undead woman wearing... I mean, she's a zombie. She looks a little worse for the wear.
She's got that shuffling gait. That's sort of just like trudging.
One of her hands has been chewed off. But she is dressed in the tattered remains of a uniform of sorts. Colors of Pinespur. Yes. And for 24 hours straight, is that what it is? She shambles northeast.
She's got to go 20 miles as the crow flies, so probably close to like 25 miles as the zombie walks at a rate of half of 3.5 miles per hour per day. So that's 1.75 miles per hour per day, so 1.75. So it takes her 14.3 hours to shuffle her way to Pinespur.
That was some quick math, but I'll take your word for it.
I had a calculator out.
Yeah. I was waffling in the break about what perspective you would take for this encounter. I mean, I guess you mechanically Mousever's controlling the zombie, but yeah,
I'm not sure what you mean by what perspective.
Like the people of Pinespur, like seeing this zombie coming in versus zombie POV.
Yeah. Like so you'll be watching
how to play this out.
Eyes.
Yeah,
and eventually you will break free from the forest surrounding Pinespur. Let's see, when did you leave? You left in the middle of the day?
Whenever the messenger was brought.
It was brought to you somewhere around like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. It would have taken you an hour to raise her, a little bit more time to prep the body, figure out what you're going to do and say. So you probably left at like 2 or 3. 14 and 3 is 17 minus 12 would bring you to 5 a.m. is when the zombie shows up. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so in the wee hours in the morning. Are there any encounters before then? Like any villagers spot a zombie shambling down the road? Anyone out in the woods see the zombie?
You cross some other wood zombies. The ones patrolling the woods. But there are no people before you get to Pinespur. You do pass through some farmland, like a small little farm outpost that has been abandoned, and make your way to the capital. So when it breaks free from the forest and is visible to the guards, they'll probably just pepper her with arrows.
Bring it.
Yeah, they'll take a full volley. They'll be like 10 shots at her.
That's no good.
10d20. Ooh. And zombie
it's dark, so they should have so there should be a penalty of 2. I don't know if there's cover for the trees. They probably should wait till she's in the open. So probably just 2. So basically they need to hit a 10 instead of an 8.
8 instead of a 6.
Oh gosh, 6 AC base?
Yeah.
And only 20 HP? You've nerfed zombies.
5. Yeah. So that's 5 hits, 5d6, 18 damage. So she gets like
still standing after the volleys, and then I guess it's up to them whether what they do after that.
And she keeps marching forward. And the second volley doesn't come. And you can keep walking forward as her, like a pincushion. And that's when, excuse me.
Is the corpse whisper, Oh wait, this corpse is already whisper enabled, right? Once the tech is implanted, can I just whisper at will, or do I have to use?
It's a casting to enable to then begin to whisper again.
On top of the creation.
Right. So one casting to enable, and then one casting to enact.
And does that last for?
Yeah, I didn't mark down a duration, but it should last for the span of a conversation. Maybe like an hour or so.
Okay, so if I choose to whisper now, it's giving me an hour clock.
Right, but then you can always recast it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then I'll go ahead and cast it just for the cheeky factor.
Okay.
So it'll be 2 and an HP drips.
An HP will drip. Yep.
Okay. So so this is like Malcifer in his coma taking actual damage.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because this spell is meant to be able to be cast while you're possessing. Correct.
Okay.
And 2 years. Max
You'll
age
see
73.
The improvised gate around the walls of Pinespur opens, and out come 4 riders on horseback. One of them carrying a lantern.
All right, the zombie whispers. Does it use the voice of Malcifer or its own raspy voice?
I think it's
or
probably
some
like
other unearthly.
It's probably a combination of her voice plus Malcifer's voice. Like, you know how the Protoss have like 2 voices echoed on top of each other? It's like that. So you'll get like her young girl voice with Malcifer's young man voice whispered over it.
I really need a soundboard or something.
Yeah.
But in any case, the zombie issues to these guards. How dare you shoot the messenger? Or who are you to dare shoot a messenger? Something along those lines.
The guards will rear their horses when it becomes apparent.
As after the volley of arrows. Right. And then the riders will obviously hear this as they come approaching.
Yeah, and they will rear their horses and come to a stop ahead of it and goes, "Who are you?"
And I think the zombie just shambles forth, just like continues to make a move into the city now that the gates are open, sort of past the riders.
The riders have lances pointed at you, and they are ready to charge you and skewer you. One of the riders is keeping an eye on the woods, shining the lantern out to there, and then back to the zombie every now and then, and then back out to the woods.
A curse upon his house, whomsoever harms a messenger. And I think with vague threats of curses, we're going to hope that's enough to keep them from... I mean, because they can kill the zombie anytime they want.
But you've identified yourself as a messenger.
They'll sort of step back and let the... I mean, then as it gets closer, they'll recognize the own uniform. They'll probably know who this is.
Yeah.
If that's enough to hold them off long enough for her to shamble forward.
It is. They're familiar with the messenger who got sent out. They let her through the gates a few days ago, and here she is coming back as a zombie with a weird voice. So I guess
what is their reaction? I mean, maybe you want to roll for it. Like, it seems perfectly sensible for them to skewer her where she stands, but maybe they also heed the curse and step back. And
they will give her an armed escort back in. 2 of them, the ones behind her, will be with lances pointed, ready to charge and skewer her. The ones in front cast their lances aside, letting the squires pick them up and take them back, and ride with drawn swords, ready to strike. And they'll sort of 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and they'll walk her through the streets of Pinespur in the wee hours of the morning before the regular citizens wake up.
I like to think that they sort of stepped back and the zombie just kept on walking into Pinespur, and they kind of just mobbed up around, and they move much faster, right? So they quarantine the zombie as it beelines it for the Lord's place, the keep, something, center of town.
Yep.
It's a zombie.
It's
can
walking.
Only steer it so well. It's walking.
Yeah, sure enough, the Lord of Pinespur, the interim Lord of Pinespur, the Sheriff Saxton, will arrive in the city square with his own armed guards, numbering 12 or so, 5 in front, 3 on each side, 1 behind him, and with the guards between him and the zombie, they sort of present and wait for you to make your way up town to the square.
Is this out front of the keep, or did they ride out to meet us in the street somewhere?
It's in the streets. Yeah. And you walk up to this scene. The riders pull off and come behind you. The soldiers stand in front of you. Yeah. Saxton says from behind the line of soldiers, and he's an old man at this point. He's 80 something. Yeah. And he says in a bit of a raspy voice, "Messenger, you've returned. You shall get the pardon I had promised you."
How far off is he shouting this?
He's 5 feet behind his guards, and they're maybe 20 feet from you. So 25 feet? Yeah. Are you going to approach closer than that?
Who are you to offer pardon upon my soul? And maybe it takes this for him to realize. I mean, this is a zombie. But it's pretty non-aggressive, right?
Yeah. He instantly realizes what's happened.
Well, it's got 10 arrows in it now.
Yep.
Right, it's peppered with his own arrows.
Yep.
His messenger returns.
It quickly dawns on him exactly what's happened here, that the woman that he sent out is now a zombie, and she's talking in her voice and someone else's voice.
Yeah.
It's nat 20 on his int check. So he looks at her and says, "Oh, my sweet child, I'm sorry to have done this to you. Are you still in there somewhere?"
My soul is on the winter wind.
Shakes his head.
Right. I think we didn't even. Oh, she was dead. Yeah, she was eaten by zombies. Yeah, her soul was scattered. An unfortunate loss. She was not even efficiently recycled.
You can see him setting his jaw, taking a breath, and then says, "I believe then I have the pleasure of speaking with Lord Winter."
Yeah. The Lord Winter speaks through my tongue.
Well, Lord Winter, have you received our message? We would have peace in our lands.
Can I get a better description of this guy now looking at him?
Yeah,
do I
early.
recognize him, or this is the first time I've seen him? It's early?
It's still early in the morning, right? It's 5 or 6 a.m. The sun is maybe starting to rise.
Zombie eyes are not affected by darkness, right?
Right, you see the red outline of life on each of these people. You can see Sheriff Saxton. He is he's probably 91 by now, or 90 years old. He's been the sheriff of this town for well over 50 years. He's dressed in his old style chainmail. He's got his long sword on one side, a cudgel on the other. He's still got a pair of manacles hanging from his belt. He's got a nice green doublet over the chainmail, but it's cut off at the arm, so you can still see the chainmail sleeves coming down to the chainmail pants that he's wearing. His face is wrinkled and weathered because he's been outside his entire life serving as a sheriff. So he's got heavy wrinkles and sags in him. He's clean shaven, no beard. His hair is short cropped and white, with that big circular bald patch in the front, and just sort of white short hair on the side. Kind of like a Bernie Sanders look, but heavier set. He's not quite as thin as the senator.
So the sheriff. Does Mousefor even know this guy?
No. You've never been to Pinespur, right?
Maybe, probably not. No, probably not.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. He's
And I
5'8".
think I will ask again for like an introduction. Like who? Yeah. Then who? Yeah. Who are you to call yourself Lord? You speak now of peace, but your message spoke of bequeathing.
Our great and late leader, Lord Baron Arthur Grayson, has died. With no clear successor, I have been appointed interim Baron while we sort out the details.
The sins of the fathers of Eridon have befallen this land, or will befall this land. I think that's, I mean, we probably heard all we need to hear. I want to think if there's any more ominous prophecies that the zombie needs to deliver. But it's pretty clear that we're not speaking to the Lord of Pinespur. We're speaking to some pretender sitting in his place, issuing orders.
Do we have a deal then? He calls out after a moment of silence. Call your forces back. Leave us to live in peace, and we shall leave you to live your life in peace as well.
Once rallied, the armies of winter cannot simply rest until justice is served.
And what justice would that be?
Median justice. How many? What are we? I guess what are we seeing in the street here? Right. So this is probably a good size of his force, right? It's like a company of men surrounding him, right? There was the escort that brought me in,
and then his personal bodyguard.
So we're talking like 100 soldiers, and he's probably behind.
He's got like 12, or I can't remember the number I said initially, like 12 around him or something, plus the 4 horsemen. Most of the other people are asleep, but there are some other guards who have woken up and other soldiers who are around standing on the sidelines. There's maybe no more than 30 people in the market square right now.
You are no lord. Who are you to offer a peace?
I am the interim lord. I speak with the full authority. But we are not your enemies. We are Gadians, just as you. Your fight is not with us. If you wish to wage war on the... he looks around at the people gathered, like taking a moment to look at certain key knights that are standing behind you, and then says anyway, If you wish to overthrow the rulers, then you should turn your eyes to Stromheim.
I guess it's... Alright, so I think the zombie is going to say, if you want peace, then keep it. Open your gates and sheathe your arms. Open your doors to the winds of winter. And abdicate your false lordship. I think I'm more than accomplished what I set out to do. I think the message was to deliver these ominous warnings, and then I think we're going to march our army into Pinespur. And so I guess the zombie cocks its head, and Malspur tries to sense whether message was received or what, or see if, or I guess wait if he has any questions. I don't know how to I guess eventually when I'm satisfied, the zombie will drop dead. But for now, it's still sitting there staring at him. Right? Because I can just break the connection and the zombie will die. Or the zombie.
Yeah, if you break the possession, the zombie will just die.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. He will try one last time to get you to stand down and say, Lord Winter, are we in agreement then? You will stand down your forces and live in peace with us?
If you want peace, you must make the appropriate sacrifices.
He looks around. What are those?
Haven't decided yet.
We do not know your ways.
Yeah. Leave that vague. We mostly just want them to let us in. We can, What would he say? Sorry, what was his specific last request? It was like, don't
pull back your armies.
Pull back your army. Yeah, I don't know.
Let us live in peace, and your true enemy is in Eridon. Turn your eyes to Stromheim.
It's probably true. Yeah. Right. I think we're good. I'm kind of out. I think I'm out of things to say. So if he there's probably an awkward pause while Malspur waits to see if he has any more questions or odd, unfounded demands, and then I think the zombie messenger will eventually fall dead as Malspur severs the connection.
Alright. The zombie dies. Baron Grayson, not Baron Grayson. The intern Baron, the sheriff.
Intern. Who put interim? It does not. You can't be an interim baron. No one can make you a. I mean, I think Malspur is like, oh my god, oh please, yeah.
Yeah, he's some sort of interim ruler. He called himself interim baron, but who the fuck knows? I mean, he's like a 90-year-old man who's sort of dotty. All right, well, The connection is severed. You are safe and sound.
I need to hit level 8 before I can do this, because I need to be able to raise dead in mass. So I'm hoping we can dilly-dally enough to level up before... Well...
I think you probably won't level up until you hit Pinespur. You know, that's probably the next leveling plateau.
Yeah.
Beautiful moment. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so connection severed. Malsifer comes to on his throne.
Back in the house.
Message delivered.
Mm-hmm. You can see a plate of food has been set out on the table before you sometime during your trance, as well as like a cup of coffee and some grapes and apples. Some apple slices, not grapes, because you have apple orchards.
So, we need to wait a week for the nightmare. And
that's only 2 more days.
That's easy enough. Yeah, okay. So we're going to raise a nightmare, we're going to raise an army, and we're going to march into Pinespur. Best case scenario, message is received and they open the gates and we just march on in and have a nice little chat with this pretender lord of Pinespur. Worst case scenario, they don't keep the peace and put up a fight, and then there will be hundreds more dead, and the Army of Winter will continue to grow. So I guess it's a win-win for us, isn't it?
I suppose. Isn't there also the option you invade and they defeat you and throw you back and you lose your whole army?
I think that's becoming increasingly unlikely, especially given their lack of organization. But we've got nearly 3 company of undead. And I don't think we could face more than one at a time, right? Depending on how they orient themselves in a battle or in Pinespur. Hopefully it won't come to that. Hopefully they'll be smart. They'll see 3 companies of undead marching on them and open their gates.
Okay.
Probably optimistic, isn't it?
Yeah. It's very optimistic. All right, well, let's, another day passes, and you can raise your nightmare now. It's been 7 days since since the stallion did his work and the mare did hers. What does it look like when you raise a nightmare?
Yeah, let's see. Nightmare. Pregnant mare with black fur, living or freshly dead. 5 HP, 3 years. It says hooves fade into smoky mist, doesn't touch the ground, telepathically bound to the caster, provides for an unnaturally smooth ride. Okay, it doesn't say anything about the ritual.
No, you get to make it up.
Well, it's definitely going to involve our executioner's axe, the Bardish, and I think we just need to kill the nightmare, and probably in this ritual circle. I can't remember where the circle is.
It's in your basement.
My basement.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to get a horse down the basement.
Yeah, we need like a ramp or something.
Do you need to bring your workers in and expand the entryway into your basement? Because there's no way you're gonna get it down that ladder.
Yeah. We could do that, right? How do you get a horse down a basement? Or do you just make the ritual circle in the barn?
Or in the church? Might be easier to move the ritual circle than to rebuild the ramp into the basement.
Yeah, we'll build a temporary circle in the church, and it could help to have the butchers handy, right? We're turning this horse over from carry the chicken tender to the butchers. So that's when you know it's time. Malsfer goes and he fetches the butchers to informs them that the mayor is pregnant and that their services are needed.
Excellent, the butcher says. We'll chop her up, turn her into meat.
No. I'll do the chopping. So we bring the mayor. Malsfer is actually has a calming presence on animals. It's just his undead that
freak him out.
Roll an animal handling check to calm the mare and lead her gently into town and into the church, where we clear apart some of the pews. Maybe better off in the backyard. Is there a big enough pit to do this in? Or is it just a bunch of potholes?
In the backyard? Well, I don't think there's any pits or potholes in the backyard.
The graveyard.
Oh, the graveyard, yes. Well, people are buried 6 feet in the ground, so there are lots of deep holes.
But not a big excavated quarry for ritual circles.
No. Many small
Yeah,
holes.
maybe
Some
we
of
just
which have been
clear the
filtered by
pews
this.
and we'll add a creepy bloodstained ritual circle to the floor underneath to make this boss map that much scarier.
Let's take a look then at the map.
Or we could do this out in a field, right? Or a pasture. That's a horse. That seems like a reasonable place to do it.
We want to do it in a pasture?
Take the mare out to pasture
Could be done.
in the dead of night. Gather around with a circle of cultists, our butchers. And the mare can be freshly dead, right?
Yes.
So I think we lead this calm, unsuspecting mare out to the circle, gathered around the cultists with their torches. Malsifer unwraps the bardish from the creature's back. Probably the poor mare probably brought its own end, carried its own end down here. And I think we rather unceremoniously slay the creature, like slit its throat with the blade of the executioner's axe, or maybe just bring it down over the top. Is that how?
I think if you slaughter an animal, you generally go across the throat because their necks are so thick it'd be difficult to kill them in one shot otherwise.
I'm sure you could sever a spinal cord with a bardish.
Maybe.
Yeah. But we'll go with the throat. Malsfer calms the poor creature with one hand, and then wielding this the blade of the executioner's axe and bleeds the creature out, and then we use the blood to paint out the ritual circle in the pasture. And so over the course of, an hour, we gather up buckets of mare's blood and draw them in a circle around the body of the creature.
So it bleeds out on the floor or on the ground, and buckets are put underneath it to catch it, and then a ritual circle gets painted around the corpse. Perfect.
Has the blacksmith finished with the new brand?
It's been a week, so yeah. He's finished with the new brand by now. It's ready to go.
Maybe he's got alternate options too, but I think a fitting finish would be to brand the creature. Maybe not. Is a nightmare brand? Yeah, Red Nightmare is bound to its creator. Does the nightmare raise from the flesh of the?
Oh yeah, like the horse. So I think as the ritual goes off, the horse just sort of gets up, and as it gets up, its hooves sink into the earth itself.
Do we have to? Is it a zombie? So did you have to do the brain manipulation stuff?
It is a zombie, yes. It has a corporeal body with incorporeal hooves.
Okay,
So
there is a surgical aspect to this.
Certainly.
Okay, so I think there's a gathering, and maybe it takes more time, right? Lilith will come, and we'll sort of, like, now that the creature's freshly dead, cultists drawing a circle. Lilith and Malcifer are cutting into the creature's head, brain, preparing for the sacrifice. And let me check the spell. Nightmare requires 3 years and 5 HP. Dang. This is a pretty sweet ride. All right, let's make the sacrifice. I think we've satisfied most of those material components. Plenty of narrative. At least it wasn't a unicorn this time. Actually, that would have been much better, wouldn't it?
Unicorn nightmare? Unicorns might be too magical to be turned into nightmares. You know, they might be too goodly. Yeah.
Sounds about right. I think a nightmare is like the evil equivalent of a unicorn, isn't it?
Yeah. You take a... Oh god, I don't know how to... You take a virgin horse and bless it with extra life and it grows a horn? Something like that. Maybe you take a male horse. I don't know.
I'm not gonna let you finish that thought.
Please don't.
All right, we are down to 70 years max age, and a ritual is complete. This sacrificed mare rises as a nightmare. Is that true? It's successful?
Yes, it is successful. As it gets to its feet, its hooves sort of sink into the earth, and like it stands all the way up, and then like steps out of the earth, and the hooves don't really emerge. It's just like the smoky tendrils that, like little clouds around its feet, it's kind of like disappearing into steam or mist or something.
Malcifer will mount up.
Yes.
Armor up. We need to drink some life force before we leave. I need 5 years or 5 HP. So I think amongst these cultists, sacrifices are going to need to be made. I'm sure these guys are probably just dying for the opportunity, right? They probably mythologized. Like the hunters, for example, making all their sacrifices. Why doesn't Senpai ever choose me to feed on?
I want to serve the Lord of Winter.
Now's your lucky chance, cultists.
Yes.
So I can get 5 HP, so 10 HP. How many years will that take to drain that much?
Let's see. The first cultist has 6 HP, so you get 3. The second one has 8, so you get 4.
All right, that's more than enough.
All right, there we go. 2.
Oh, these cultists are better food than my hunters. All right, let's get to 27 HP. Let's cast Spirit Armor. Yeah, so I think in the wee hours of dawn, the village helps their lord get ready for battle. At these dark rituals, horrible sacrifices, raising nightmares, sacrifices and feedings. The blacksmith will help suit me up in the breastplate, and I think we're also going to equip chain limbs. Which weigh are they another 25 pounds? Are they like 35 pounds or something like that?
Chain limbs are 25 pounds. And a breastplate is 25 pounds. That should be 50 pounds of armor.
Yeah. Nice. And I am only
17 AC.
Only the first level of encumbrance.
Perfect.
So that just reduces movement. If I'm on Nightmare back, doesn't even matter. Do we want to mark any of our villagers before we leave? Is that more of a priority? I think it might be helpful to have the hunters marked, depending on what happens in this battle. So let's look at that mark of allegiance. Just takes years. So let's dish out some marks of allegiance. I don't have many years left.
How many years do you have left?
It's less than 70.
That's a ton of years. That's it.
Oh, actually, sorry, that's my max age.
Right. Oh, okay.
Less than that.
Okay.
Max age 68. Current age is 20, just over 25, almost 26. So
you only have like 40 something years left.
40 something years left, and you tend to use. I mean, you use those as a resource to combat and stuff. But I think we can afford a couple. Let's just start with a couple. One of the hunters and maybe the butcher if he wants it. Or Rosegrove? Is Rosegrove intrigued by that, or does he not?
That's a good call, Lord Rosegrove. He's your faithful servant. He brings you people for sacrifices. He's heavily involved in all of your day-to-day operations. He seems like a good candidate for a mark of allegiance. Right? I mean, who's more loyal than Rosegrove?
Yeah. We'll try this out on him first. I think the blacksmith was done with the brand, right?
It's ready to go.
Nightmare's ready to go. Mousefor will ride back to his to the manor with the new brand. You issue Rosegrove a mark of allegiance. We'll find him somewhere on the estate. Maybe or was he at the? At the estate somewhere.
Yeah.
His lord Mousefor approaches with this new brand that I think was just a border to the old. Unless the blacksmith came up with something creative, a border and a slash, or we can modify Rosegrove's tattoo with time.
Okay.
Lord Rosegrove, you have always been my most loyal confidant.
Yes, my lord.
My finest servant. In my absence, it may become necessary for you to command some of the armies of winter here in the here at home. As the groundskeeper, it is only fitting that you take control of these grounds.
It has been difficult to tend to the rose bushes when the guardians refuse to move.
I meant to work in an allegiance pun in there somewhere, but yeah. So I will produce this new brand. Mousefor will.
Okay.
And here, a mark to show to the soldiers of winter who you are.
He puts out his arm and also produces from his pocket, because he's been ready for this, a small folded bit of leather that he places between his teeth.
Creepy. All right. We warm it in the hearth fire and 3 years. All right, down to 65. I also think it would be helpful if have any of the hunters proven to be any more effective than the others?
No.
They're all pretty ineffective.
The most effective one is already dead.
Right. We mentioned the cultists there was a 6 and an 8 HP, correct?
Correct.
So I'm gonna go ahead and add that to the character sheet. Ooh, the butcher has 15 strength. That can be fixed. Slowly upgrading all of my townsfolk into pretty horrifying low-level bosses, right? Mm-hmm. Got the butcher. Mouse could amplify him with unholy strength to boost that 15 on up. Blacksmith with a zombie hand. Let's see, butcher's man, cultists. I'll at least note that there was a 6 and an 8 HP because I like those numbers. I think it would be helpful if I marked one of the hunters as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you will mark a hunter and Lord Rosegrove.
Yeah.
We should probably name this hunter because I think if you mark him, this is now the leader of the hunters.
Yeah.
Let me...
Your red team leader? Or do you have a more clever name? Should it be the one with the most HP, or is that not necessarily the best hunter?
Might as well make it the one with the most HP, right?
Yeah, sure. Also, I'll give 7 HP to that guy. Him and Rosegrove are the first to get to triple X marked. I don't know why I started marked with 1X, actually, now that I think about it. I should probably make it...
Yeah, it should either be 1X or 3Xs, because your mark was 3Xs. I have no idea why you've been doing 2. It's been confusing me this whole time.
It's confusing me now, too. All right, so let's downgrade all of these to 1X. Oh, why is...
Okay. Your lead hunter, the one with 8 HP, right? His name is... Ooh, I should check and see if it's man or woman. Oh, it's man. His name is Vlad.
Vlad.
Yes.
I don't know.
Just Vlad the hunter.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now the hunters can work as an independent squad.
Yes. And now they can better bring in the rewards from other villages now that a hunter can talk to a specialist, and together they can, use zombies or whatever or skeletons to bring back any supplies they might need instead of having to do it with human labor.
Mm-hmm. And
this is a good breaking point, because when we come back from our break, you're going to march on Pinespur.
Indeed.
Okay.
Brace yourselves.
We will see you on the other side. Bye-bye.